How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome into 14P Fantasy. I am your host, Justin Wright. Today, we are talking Dynasty Buy or Sell, part 2 of this however many part series we get to, really. We're going to be talking 3 guys. 2 of them have massive quarterback changes. One of them is just kind of a middling running back that, who knows what you're doing here. So before we get into all of that, we got some things to talk about, and that is the Patreon page, guys. Again, if you watch us, we're talking about it every single week, every single video. Check out patreon.com/14P Fantasy. Over there, you get access to our RB volatility ratings, our dynasty ranks, our tiered rookie rankings. In that top tier, you'll also get, a personalized dynasty video breaking down your team, whichever team you pick, giving you trade advice, talking you through how to position yourself for the future, other stuff like that. So there's a lot of good stuff over on the Patreon with more coming for redraft season. So check that out again. The link is in the description below. Also, if you like the channel, subscribe, comment, questions, anybody else that you want to see on this Dynasty Buy or Sell series. If you guys drop them in the comments, we'll get 2 of them, throughout the course of the off season here, the next couple of months. So anything you want to see, drop it below. We're always going to be checking that out, interacting with you guys in the comments. All right, enough of that. Let's get into it. Number 1, we have Jeudy. Obviously, an enormous change at quarterback. Russell Wilson is now Jeudy's quarterback. And just relative to what he has dealt with in the past, it's an insane step up. His first 2 years in the NFL, Jeudy has been outside of the top 70 wide receivers in target accuracy. He just doesn't have a chance to catch the ball. This year, he saw 45 catchable targets. And yeah, he missed time in games and whatever else. 45 catchable targets. And even then, are they really catchable if they're coming from Drew Lock? Drew Lock is and has been one of the worst starting quarterbacks I've ever seen. It's just a flat out fact. Everybody else they brought in, Teddy Bridgewater, sucks. I mean, what are you going to say about it? So now you have Jeudy with a monumental upgrade at quarterback. Naturally, his ADP has spiked. His value has skyrocketed. It was all offseason. We thought it was Rodgers. So some of it was baked in. But now you have a firm commitment in Russell Wilson. He's up to RB 18 over on DLF in rankings and RB wide receiver 24 on DLF. So in ADP. So what that means now is, you have to take him as a wide receiver too. You have to trust that he is going to fill that Tyler Lockett role with Russell Wilson. And honestly, I do. I fully believe this is a great thing for Jeudy. He's a player I've still liked. And obviously, it's not 100% on Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. But a lot of it is, if you can't get the ball to him, why does it matter? Right? That's what you're really talking about here. When you look at Russell Wilson, I'm going to take away 2021 because obviously he had that weird mallet finger. He came back too quick, was never the same. But 2 of the last 3 seasons, so 2020, 2019, 2018, those 3 years, 2 of those 3 years, Russell Wilson was top 5 in accuracy rating over on Player Profiler. That's enough to obviously trust what he's doing. Now, it's still going to be a run-first football team. They're going to feed Javonte. Maybe, hopefully not. Melvin Gordon comes back. Again, 2-headed monster. And Russell Wilson's going to be in probably a similar position to what he was in Seattle. That still produced fantasy gold. We saw it with DK. We saw it with Tyler Lockett, although it was inconsistent. The ceiling is going to be astronomical. So for Jeudy, I'm still paying. I'm paying the premium. I do not care. So some trades I've seen go down for Jeudy after this trade. So these are trades that have happened in leagues I am in or over on DLF's Trade Finder. Jeudy for the 107. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think where it gets tricky is when you get to 106. To me, there's a clear tier break after 106. The 3 running backs and then Drake London, Treylon Burks, and Garrett Wilson are the top 3 wide receivers in my mind. So at 107, you're not giving up, in my eyes, an elite wide receiver. So I'm happy to take a chance on Jerry Jeudy in year 3. I mean, to me, that's a great trade. I'm all in on it. And then going for an existing player, somebody traded Josh Jacobs to get Jerry Jeudy. I'm also fine with that. If you look at the way the Raiders are spending, it's unlikely you see Josh Jacobs get a long extension in Las Vegas. Almost said Oakland. In Las Vegas. So he may be hitting the free agent market, which could be drastic changes for him if he gets another chance at a workhorse role or something like that. So I'll gladly give up Josh Jacobs. His price is going to vary league to league, owner to owner. Those are just 2 examples where, he's a clear buy. Just coming in at a good price, and he's very much worth it. Moving on to number 2, the flip side of the Russell Wilson trade, it is DK Metcalf. Obviously, he's only 24 still. He is still a speed, size, athleticism freak of nature, just all around insane human being. DK Metcalf now has no quarterback as of right now. I don't believe they're ever going to get Jimmy G. Why would they make that move on a team that is clearly rebuilding an interdivision trade? That's not happening. Rule him out. They didn't get Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky, all these other guys that were kind of floating around out there. They're most likely going rookie quarterback here. And to me, that is enough intrigue, enough upside to go buy DK Metcalf at a slight discount. He's dropped from, firmly inside people's top 8 dynasty wide receivers to borderline top 12. 11 to 13 is his new range, really. And that's enough of a dip that I'm happy to go and buy a superstar wide receiver as far as talent goes. Again, he was top 10 2 years ago as in second season. And then year 3, obviously, came out super hot and then dealt with Geno Smith, who was still fine for his value, and then an injured Russell Wilson. So he kind of tanked his second half, as Russ Wilson always does. That has created enough concern around DK Metcalf that you can get him cheaper than you did previously. A trade that happened post Deshaun Watson signing and post Allen Robinson signing was DK Metcalf for Allen Robinson and Amari Cooper. Now, if you are a rebuilding team, I love this trade. This makes a lot of sense. If you're a team that is going to be a contender, I see the flip side here. I still prefer DK Metcalf because I want the superstar. And, I'll gladly give up 2 guys that are hitting 28, 29 soon. Changing situations may not produce. Although I like A-Rob and Cooper for 2022. But the point remains, DK Metcalf is just a different type of player than them. He has beat them 2 years ago, higher than Allen Robinson and Amari Cooper have really ever played in fantasy or, finished a season. DK Metcalf is just flat out better. Yeah, there's more questions. I'm going to take that trade 10 times out of 10. Another one that was actually interesting, with Darnell Mooney and the 105 in a 1 quarterback league for DK Metcalf. So this is a trade. I think if you are on the flip side, if you're going to rebuild here, I get wanting the pick. I get wanting Darnell Mooney. I'm very high on him as well. I still want DK Metcalf in this trade. Elite assets and selling them when they dip is just the wrong move in this case. Again, if he had made that trade 2 months earlier, he's getting more than Mooney and 105 for DK Metcalf. That's selling low. So if that's the price to enter, I'm going to buy DK Metcalf and Mooney and 105 pretty consistently, although that is still a solid return. I think in a few weeks, you're going to be looking back at that and going, okay, his price has kind of rebounded with the new rookie quarterback, whether it's Willis or Pickett or whoever. And that's going to look like a crazy discount. And the last one here, and I think this is right on value. And again, if you're a rebuilding team, I like targeting DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf for Joe Mixon or Joe Mixon for DK Metcalf, whichever side you're on. That makes sense. If you're a contending team, go get the running back that is, going to produce in 2022, probably 2023 as well still, while DK Metcalf tries to build a rapport with a new quarterback. That makes a lot of sense. Go get your elite running back. And then as the rebuilding team, as it was in this trade, DK Metcalf makes a ton of sense. Longer shelf life than Joe Mixon. And again, he's coming at a slight discount right now. All right, guys. So again, DK Metcalf, clear buy. If you missed the Jeudy or you skipped it earlier, Jeudy, also a buy here. Moving on, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's only 22. It's about the It's the nicest thing you can say about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's a very, very average running back. He's not bad, but he has no ceiling. When I say no ceiling, he's never scored 25 points. Ever. It's never happened. Because of that, we at 14P, we use RB volatility ratings. And for that, we're looking over 2 years, how high are your highs, how low are your lows, and how often are you hitting them? His top 5 average, his 5-game average, his 5 highest scores in the last 2 seasons, the average is 20 points. There's no visible ceiling, and he is in the most explosive offense in the NFL. And it's not even that, they just don't use Clyde Edwards-Helaire, where they can't succeed with other running backs. We've seen several running backs do significantly better things than Clyde Edwards-Helaire in that offense. He is the problem. It's pretty obvious. When Jerick McKinnon is returning from the grave to outproduce you, you are the problem. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, again, he had a D rating in our volatility ratings. Doesn't get any lower than that. It's just a bad place to be. He has the lowest weekly deviation, which means there's no highs. A high deviation week to week typically comes with ceiling games because, 0 is a finite. You're stuck at 0. You can go up to 50, 60 points if you're Alvin Kamara, so you have a higher weekly volatility. Clyde Edwards-Helaire doesn't have that. Lowest week-to-week variation because he just scores anywhere from 8 to 14 points. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. He's a 1-year rental right now. He has 1 year left on his contract. If he gets re-signed in Kansas City, it's probably not good for him. And if he leaves, he's not getting a workhorse role like he could potentially get in Kansas City. Could CEH bounce back this year and kind of prove us wrong here? Sure. I don't think he gets an extension, though, so I don't think it matters. You have a situation change no matter what. Could he be a fun 1-year rental for a contending team? Sure. But you want to be ahead of the curve here. And yes, his value is already suppressed because everybody else knows this. That's fine. I'm going to sell. I hate selling at a discount, but that's what you have to do here. I think it's like Miles Sanders. Just get out now and deal with the consequences later if there are any. So right now, just in startup ADP, he's going ahead of Michael Carter. That shouldn't be happening. I've seen him traded straight up for Zeke. Zeke's also on his way down. That's obvious. I'll take Zeke over CEH. That's not even a question. And then the last one here, CEH for Curtis Samuel, and then the 110 in a 1 QB league. I'm going to do that too. Just give me different assets. Somebody other than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's pretty much where I'm at. It's a 1-year rental, and then it's thrown into the pit of second contract running backs that aren't very good. All right, guys, that's all we have for you. If you have questions, comments, always drop them below. Like we said up top, the Patreon link is in the bio. You can follow us on Twitter at 14P_fantasy, or you can get me over there as well at Justin_14P. All right, guys, as always, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.